So, in my history of owning iPhones, there were really only two times I can remember where people actually hated the device when they first came out. Now, I wanted to exclude the iPhone XR because that iPhone was somewhat conflicting, and even though a lot of people hated it when it first came out, it became a super beloved iPhone. Now, this time we have two different iPhones to take a look at. This one, some of you may know it, I think a majority of you may know it by now. This is the iPhone 5C. This is an iPhone that when it first came out, it was kind of complicated because I think a lot of people understood where this iPhone was coming from, but the way Apple approached it, especially compared to its predecessor, it made absolutely no sense. This was the iPhone 5C. Now, this iPhone, some of you may know it. I don't even think I charged this thing. Some of you may know it. It was the 2013 budget tier phone. It was like the iPhone XR before the XR. It was like an iPhone SE almost in a way. What Apple ended up doing was they put the same internals of the iPhone 5 inside of this thing. They didn't really, they changed the price tag a little bit compared to the iPhone 5, but this was pretty much a cheaper iPhone 5. But the weird thing was at that moment, you could buy an iPhone 5 in the used market for cheaper than what this thing was selling for brand new. And there was no way the iPhone 5C was a better phone. It didn't even have better battery life. It didn't have better anything at all. This phone was a worse version of the iPhone 5, and they were selling it for more in the brand new market than it was being sold in the used market for the iPhone 5. So when you look at the phones nowadays, like with the iPhone XR, that phone was cheaper, but it really wasn't like, using the same internals as the iPhone, 10 or anything like that. It was, using the same internals as the iPhone XS and XS Max that were at the same time. So Apple really learned from this, and I think with the iPhone SE, they did a tremendous job until they kind of released the iPhone SE 3, which in my opinion is that next iPhone where I think pretty much everyone kind of hated. The sales numbers kind of prove that by now. What Apple ended up doing with this device, at least from everything that I've kind of considered, is that this phone shouldn't have been what it was. I feel like Apple in 2022 dropping a phone like this. This phone came out in 2000 and whatever, like 13. The fact that these phones kind of look identical and there's almost like 10 years difference between these two, it makes absolutely no sense to me at all. It makes absolutely no sense to me at all. Now, with the iPhone SE 3, the main reason why people didn't like it was because of the design. In this day and age, the internals and everything almost mean a little bit less than what they used to. I think 2020 was a tipping point when Apple released the SE2, but that was fine. With this phone, for it being how old as it was in terms of the design, it doesn't even matter if you put the fastest engine or the fastest processor or whatever in this device when the body and the exterior is so outdated. Especially when you look at what some other manufacturers are doing, like Google with the Pixel 6a, it kind of makes the iPhone SE2 or iPhone SE3 and the SE2 kind of seem like a super outdated device. And that's where I kind of look at this device and kind of feel a certain way. I personally feel like Apple could have done a little bit of a better job. And I think if there were any phones that people pretty much hated, I think this is probably two of the phones that people hated for the most part. But I think the 5C kind of aged a little bit better because it had a bigger impact than I think the iPhone SE3 probably will, in my opinion. So that kind of covers it. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.